Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Um, I wasn't planning on making a video today, but last night I went to a support group meeting for my weight loss surgery. It was a step I had to check off. And this story actually doesn't have anything to do with the actual support group. It's something that happened to me as I was leaving the support group. And it made me feel really good, and I thought it was worth sharing. So as I was leaving, I stepped into the bathroom because I had a long way home, and I happened to catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I noticed that my t-shirt was practically hanging off of me, and it wasn't necessarily the best look, but it still made me feel really good because it was the first time in a long time that I've seen myself like that. And this is one of my smaller shirts. It's one of my shirts that has always fit me kind of snug, almost to the point that I don't like to wear it, but I like the logo on the shirt. So I wore it last night. And I noticed for myself for the first time that I'm actually losing weight, and it made me feel good. I've had people, my fiance and his mom and his aunt and my own friends, comment on me losing weight, but I couldn't see it. And I actually saw it for the first time, and it was kind of amazing. And I know that a lot of the reason that I don't see it, and one of the reasons that I made the channel, was because I can't see it. I probably have body dysmorphia because in my head, if I don't see any other proof, I think I'm smaller. But when I see myself in the mirror, or like I see my own shadow, I feel so huge. And I feel it like when I put my clothes on. And I've heard other people who've actually been diagnosed with body dysmorphia discuss those same feelings. And it's not a completely amateur self-diagnosis, because I actually majored in psychology. So I know some about it. I just don't have a therapist that's diagnosed me. So I won't 100% say I have it, but I think I probably do. And so I don't always see through the mask that my own brain puts on my body. But I did for once, and it was kind of amazing. And I've been thinking about it since last night, so I decided to make a video talking about it because I feel like it's important. And I want to share it with people. And it made me think about how important it is to try to love your own body. Like, I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race lately, and Ru always ends the show by saying, remember, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anyone else? And while I don't entirely agree with that, because I do think that you can love people even if you don't love yourself, because I've done it, I think it is important to try to love yourself. But in saying that, I also think that it is perfectly okay to not love things about yourself. And when I was coming to that realization in my own head, it reminded me of something that happened when I was working at the grocery store I used to work at. There was a girl there, and she was in high school. She was a cheerleader, and she may see this, so she'll know who I'm talking about. And she was going through her own body image issues because since high school, she's put on a little bit of weight. Now, this girl is by no means heavy. She's a small, petite girl, and she has thick thighs because she was a cheerleader. And if you've ever seen cheerleaders, you know they have thick, muscular legs. And she was complaining to me about feeling fat. And I remember this exact moment where, and like, I can't profess to know what went on in her head, but she was talking about feeling fat, and then she looked up and saw me, and I'm probably 200 pounds heavier than she was. And I could tell that she felt a little bad for saying that in front of me because I'm so much heavier. And she apologized and said, I know you probably don't think I am. And I told her, and I don't know if she heard me the way I wanted her to. So I kind of hope that she sees this and can hear it for real. I think it's okay, even if you're not fat, to feel fat. We all do. There is so much coming at us from media and social media and just from everywhere that makes us feel fat. No matter whether we're 98 pounds or 498 pounds, we're made to feel fat by society. It happens. And it's okay to have parts of your body that you don't like, parts that you would like to feel better about. For instance, I have stretch marks. I would like to not have stretch marks, but it's probably not going to happen. It comes from the fact that I've ballooned up and down with weight. It comes from the fact that when I initially got heavy when I was younger, it happened really quickly. Sometimes it happens just from puberty. Thin people have stretch marks. Women who've had babies have stretch marks. It's just a natural part of life. Sometimes I feel like there's parts of me that are saggier than I would prefer. Um, and I don't think that makes it hard for us to love people. I think it makes it hard for us to love ourselves. And sometimes it can be frustrating for those people who love us. I know that my fiance Mace has expressed a lot of frustration with my self-esteem issues because he tells me he thinks I'm beautiful. He would think I was beautiful if I was wearing a potato sack. He's literally said that, and I do believe him, but I don't always feel that way. I rarely feel that way. I've heard other people, other YouTubers, say that their husbands or wives or girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, or family members have said the same things to them. It's not that they're not attracted to us, it's that we're not attracted to ourselves. And that's okay, but it is something that we should try to work on. And occasionally we do have those moments where we don't necessarily see ourselves as beautiful, but we can see some of the beauty that other people see in us. So one of the things I've been trying to do for myself is to try to find the things that I like about myself. I like my eyes. I like the way that I look in red lipstick. You can't tell because I have really dark lipstick on today. I like my hair most of the time, which you probably wouldn't believe because I abuse it a lot. um, I even like my feet, even the weird one with the lump. It's not a bad lump, it's just a cyst that won't go away. But there are things I love about myself. Most of them aren't physical. But I'm working on it. And that moment I had last night showed me that my work is paying off at least a little bit. I don't know why I'm choking up a little bit. Um, it just feels kind of profound to me. Because there are so many deep-seated issues with my self-esteem that it's very difficult to unlearn. And it's something that if you haven't had super low self-esteem, you may not be able to understand fully. It's kind of like that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So, like, I spent probably nearly 30 years of my life being taught that the way I look isn't okay. I'm fat, I'm lazy, and it's my fault. And I've had experiences with medical professionals who didn't help at all. Like when I went through my back problems, the first doctor who was helping me was basically reiterating those same things. Like, even though I had gone nearly 30 years without back problems, and it happened suddenly. It was because I was heavy. My sciatic nerve pinched because I was heavy. And that was the only response, was it's because you're heavy, you need to lose weight. It wasn't, like, most of the focus was on that. Very little of the focus was on managing the pain and trying to figure out what was new in my life that was causing the pain. And I know what it was. It was that, one, I have a genetic predisposition to having a bad back. And, I mean, being heavy didn't help that at all. But it was also that the job I had was very physically demanding, especially on my lower back. I worked at a bakery deli, and I was a deli clerk, and like for at least 4.5 hours a day, I was working a meat slicer, which twists your lower back a lot, or I was carrying heavy products like big boxes full of meat, or helping the cake decorators carry their like 70-pound bucket of frosting from the kitchen to the front part of the deli, or standing hunched over a sink doing dishes for 4 hours at a time. It was very physically taxing for my back, and that's what exacerbated the disc disease in my back, and then started causing the sprained muscles, and then eventually the pinched nerves because of the way my back was being twisted and pulled and not able to heal the way it needed to. And that doctor just, he didn't want to focus on that. He just wanted me in physical therapy and to lose weight. And I have done physical therapy. I did physical therapy for the better part of 2 years. And it helped sometimes. But the last time I was in physical therapy, while I had an active pinched nerve, it didn't help. It didn't help even a little bit, because being active was making it worse when what I needed was rest. And it, because I had this medical professional telling me it's because I'm heavy, it ate at me. And so every little bit that I had worked up in my self-esteem, until the point that my back started failing me, was easily eroded away, because my self-esteem still wasn't great, and it's still not great. So I kind of compare it to volume levels on a TV. When somebody tells me something good about myself, it's on normal volume, maybe. A lot of the time, it's nearly on mute. But when somebody says something bad about me, especially when it should be a person who's supposed to be helping me, it's on like max volume. And not just max volume, but it's on repeat. And I feel like it's probably that way for most people. And on top of that, I'm my own worst critic. If it's one of the reasons I avoid mirrors. Most of the mirrors in our house are either hand mirrors or they're from like here up. And it's because I don't like to see myself, because when I see myself, almost every time, I only see the negatives. and and that they're magnified, and it's hard to see that, and it's hard to not see that. So in my own head, I can pretend that the problems aren't there, or I can even sometimes convince myself that it might be a problem, but it's okay. Nobody cares about it as much as I do. And I think that's probably true. I think that nobody cares as much about your your saggy breasts or your fat thighs or your big ass or your chin model as much as you do. Especially not the people who matter. And sometimes it's just hard for us to see that. But it's important. Uh, I didn't want to get sappy so quick on my channel, but I guess that's what's going to happen. Because I'm not going to edit this out. Because part of what I want to do with this is show the good parts, and the hard parts, and the bad parts, and the ugly parts. Because that's part of the journey, and it's important. And I think that maybe it won't just help me. So yeah, that's where I think I'm going to end this, because I'm hitting a point where I'm rambling. But the main point was that seeing that I was actually making progress made me so happy last night. And it's still, even though I'm crying right now, it still makes me feel so good. Because it's working. So, I am going to go wipe and blow my nose, and I'm going to sign off. So, despite the fact that I'm a teary mess, um, I want to say, remember to be strong, and smile when you can, and always take care of yourself.